if you're just got a lot of effects and things to throw in. Obviously, it really depends on the video. Like certain videos where you don't have a bunch of crazy effects and you're just cutting video together. I mean, I've put together a 5-minute video in 45 minutes, but then again, I've also had a 3-minute video take me 13 hours.
The most basic form of editing is just playing back your video, finding out where you want the cut. So you're probably gonna have to like watch through the whole raw footage in itself, and then go back and know what you're.
I mean, generally, it's gonna be you're gonna have a couple of steps. You're gonna watch through your video, do a rough cut to cut out most of the garbage, then kind of go through and maybe fine pick through the stuff and actually get your cuts a little bit more clean. And then you add in the effects, and you add in your intro and your outro and all this other fun stuff. And so all that other stuff can take a lot of time depending on what you're using. Yeah, it can get kind of lengthy. But don't let that scare you away. I mean, just doing a simple cut job is like 90% of what makes a good video. So if you can just cut out all the dead airtime and all the ums and ahs and word flubs, you're 90% of the way there. The last 10% is the cherry on top of your sundae. So your hand first.
I know there's cases where, in Majura Strawberry's case, his entire channel is not able to be monetized. So in that regard, is that like a rarity, or is that kind of somewhat common as far as?
That's a real rarity. I think he's the only person I know. His case is really weird because he's contacted YouTube like 1,000,000 times, and even they've never given him a straight answer.
Their answer was, you have violated our terms, but we can't tell you what you did because it's against our privacy rules. And that happened very early on in his channel, like when he was at like 10,000 or
Yeah, I think that's why he streams on a secondary channel now, because on that one at least he can do the super chats and all that other fun stuff.
Wait, does he not get a play button then?
No.
What?
He's still fighting that.
He's still fighting
That's
that.
ridiculous.
It's really dumb. He's angry about it. He's been angry about that for a long time. So yeah, that is a tender subject.
I wonder if he should lawyer up or something.
I mean, for YouTube, it's like
Obviously,
at the end of the
but I
day,
mean,
they could delete everyone's account if they wanted to. It's their platform, so all you can do is try and argue with them, and if they say no, take it to Vimeo or something. I don't know.
and short, find a different
Make
medium.
another channel.
There's a good question. I know this is a YouTube channel, but what do you think about the general YouTube alternatives out there? Because it seems like there's lots of horror stories about this with YouTube. Is there anything really worth trying to go to outside of YouTube?
So this is the problem, is that YouTube is, it's kind of like Facebook was a couple of years ago. It is the biggest platform, and no other platform can really get off the ground to the same extent just by virtue of its hugeness. But some alternative things, I actually, I think it was at a Scari's panel yesterday, there was someone up there who, all they did was Twitter videos. They would just make videos and post them to Twitter. And that's great because they can go real viral and they have the same kind of general social aspect as YouTube, but they're a little harder to actually look back on. You can also make videos and post them to Facebook. I know there's a couple of other video sites. It just is, there's a lot of places, and honestly, if you're making a video for YouTube, there's no law that says, hey, it's only for YouTube. So if you have a presence on Vimeo or, I don't know, any Dailymotion, is that still around?
Yeah, Dailymotion's
Yeah.
still there.
So post your stuff as widely as you can, even if it's just links to your videos, like get it out there. If you see a platform that you like, post it there and post it on YouTube. I've actually got someone who lives in China and will take my videos, sub over them with Chinese subtitles and post them to the Chinese equivalent to YouTube, because they said apparently there's an audience for furry YouTube stuff.
Yeah, I heard something about that. What's his name? One of the author brothers. You know who I'm talking about, right? Crash Course?
Yeah.
So the brother was talking about how that works, and you as the creator, the original creator, have the option to basically say, oh, I'll let that video stay up, or I can take it down.
No, basically they just post it with like my approval. They like send me a link when they're done, and I look at it and I'm like, I don't know if these Chinese subtitles are right because I barely speak English, but yeah, looks good, go ahead. But yeah, just as put it on as many sites as you can, but YouTube is kind of the big one right now. In the back.
How do you annotate your videos?
annotate the videos.
I think that's been removed.
Yeah, annotations unfortunately got removed. Yeah, they were really useful and they just got rid of them. It kind of
Yeah.
sucks. But
Yeah, you can still find them in older
we have,
videos
like, the-
somehow.
still find them on video.
YouTube banners. It's like little pop-up.
Yeah, now we have these little pop-in things. They like pop in as a if you've ever seen it, it's like a little eye in the corner of the thing. And you know, mouse over it and it'll pop down with some information. That's about as close as you're gonna get. And then there's the end cards, which you can never use annotations with end cards anyway. But the end cards are like those little like, you know, next video and subscribe and stuff at the end of videos. They're actually clickable links. So those are really useful to put in on your end of your videos. You can be like, watch the next video that I have, or watch this other video, or if you're doing a collaboration with someone else, watch the video that I collab with them on. Subscribe, here's my Patreon, you can really link out pretty well with those end cards. Any other questions at all?
Anyone?
The dirty dog in the back.
Oh.
I know him, don't worry.
Yeah, he knows me. He has to deal with my punny atmosphere.
Where were you
live
3
with
minutes
him.
ago?
He's my roommate.
Serious question though, and it might have been covered. But what was your first YouTube video, and what inspired you to make it?
My first YouTube video. If you don't count my my like this is my channel video, my first YouTube. God, that was like a year and change ago. I don't even. Ugh, I'm bad. I don't even remember. Here, hold on. I've got a fun
Using
thing.
your resources.
I'm using my resources. YouTube.
Oh, not as much as mine.
Most
I
of
had-
them are like put to sleep.
Hilarious, though.
Ran the fluffy. Beagle, do you remember your first video?
Yeah.
Oh, you can talk about it while I'm figuring mine out.
My first video was Australian furries try American candy.
I can remember that
Basically, it came
one.
about, it was just an opportunity that was too big to pass up because I was going to Australia for the first time to meet with some of my friends down there. And I was like, you know, this is like a rare chance. I'm going to bring you guys all the crazy American things I can find, make you guys eat it. And in return, you guys are going to give me your crazy food, and I'll make my American friends eat it. So that was kind of like a two-part video that I planned. So those were my first two videos.
So I'm actually remembering. Oh, by the way, this is when I was talking earlier about a banner. Very simple. Comedy, discussion, fan dog rambling. So that's 99% of what I'm doing. It's discussing things comedically and rambling a lot. But my first video, besides the one that says first video, is actually, funnily enough, my most popular video, coming out as a furry. Big parentheses around there because I know the connotations of coming out, and unfortunately that's the way that we describing to our friends and family that we have a silly hobby that's totally harmless. But yeah, that was actually my first discussion because it was something, it's actually one of the reasons that I made my channel was I always heard people like, how do I tell my family that I'm a furry? And I'm like, don't make a big deal about it. I'm not going to go into details about this, but it's like, just tell them you're furry. It's not a big deal, really, guys. You don't make it a big deal and they won't make it a big deal. But yeah, my initially the reason I wanted to do videos is because I had people ask me questions and I saw a lot of questions with no answers. And so that's really where I found my calling, I guess, with Furry YouTube. Any other questions? Questions?
It's a little hard to make a living off of YouTube since it's like for YouTube to search like information on YouTube.
I know like maybe 3 or 4 furry YouTubers who make a living off of it. And when I say make a living, it's like, it's a rough living. So pretty much every furry YouTuber does it as a side hobby or at most a secondary job. So it's real hard. It's even hard for like the mainstream YouTubers to live off of. I mean, unless you're like really, really big, multiple millions of views, multiple millions of subscribers, it's tough. YouTube, you don't make a lot of money off of it. So
That's why they invented Patreon.
yeah, good old Patreon. Patreon will help. I don't think we talked about it, but yeah, Patreon, wonderful website where people can give you money to support the stuff that you do. It's really great to get you a couple extra bucks to go to these cons and for hardware and fun extra things to make your videos a little bit better.
Yeah, honestly, Patreon can get you about 10 times as much revenue as YouTube
Easily.
ads could give you.
Probably more.
Yeah.
I think I saw Scar. You had your hand up.
No, I was gonna ask like a question along the lines of something he did to just kind of.
Okay.
You answered it indirectly.
Okay.
Okay, so as far as Patreon's concerned, when should have like anybody, even outside the fandom, if they wanted to set up a Patreon account, like, do they have to wait till they hit a certain subscriber count,
I
or?
don't think
As long as you are creating content and you can justify asking people for money over it, you're good to go.
a real good way to know is if someone asks you like, "Hey, do you have a Patreon?" That's probably a good sign that you should make a Patreon. It probably means you're big enough and are putting out good enough stuff that people want to throw money at you. Which, sure, give me your money. So, yeah, no,
Should have to
basically.
take my money.
Basically, either at the point where you think you are putting enough time and effort and love and care into your videos to justify someone giving you $1 or $2 a month, make a Patreon. But a real easy way is if anyone asks, like, hey, do you have a way I can support you? Do you have merch? Do you have a Ko-fi? Do you have a Patreon? Do you have something? That's probably your best time to make a Patreon.
So this was also kind of a two-part question.
Okay.
Usually, with those who do get a Patreon, what kind of rewards do you offer? And because obviously Patreon has this thing where, oh, you pay this amount of money, you get something in return.
I mean, I'll let you do this because I don't actually have a Patreon yet.
Okay. So a lot of rewards I see are basically the smallest one is basically a shout out in your video. If you like, if you have like a small number of patrons, it's not hard to give a shout out in your videos or your description or something. If you're like up in the thousands,
It can be a little rough.
yeah. But other low tier rewards are typically Telegram chat. I know.
Yeah.
I think all the patrons I donate to, you get to join a Telegram chat with
Or
the.
like a Discord chat, or
Yeah.
some kind of a little,
You
like a little
basically-
community.
You get to interact with the creator and their other patrons. It's actually really nice because I met a lot of my close friends through my own or other people's patron groups. And bigger tiers usually involve sometimes physical rewards. Like my $5 tier is you get a postcard from me every month if you want. And some people are like, if you donate like $50 or $200, I'll give you a care package monthly.
Or like we'll hang out at a con or something,
Yeah.
or I'll, we'll get dinner or something. something silly and fun.
The
Yeah.
thing about Patreon is that it just comes with the community aspect, I guess. Like you meet other people by donating through Patreon.
Yeah. And actually one of the fun things about that is and this is kind of an unspoken thing about Patreon that I feel like a lot of people gloss over. If you have people that are willing to give you money because they think that your content is good enough, they are probably your biggest fans. And people like to justify their purchases in some regard. This is getting a little psychological, but if you give someone $5 a month, well, now you probably are more inclined to tell your friends how great they are, to kind of subconsciously justify that, hey, I give this person $5 a month. So in some regard, Patreon can be really good for building up a very loyal audience that will promote your stuff just because they want to. So it can be really useful. I probably should get on that whole Patreon game.
That include merchandise.
Merchandise, kind of along the same line. I'd say merchandise wait a little bit longer than a Patreon because it's easier for someone to give you $1 a month, but it's a little harder for someone to give you $25 for a t-shirt. But same general idea. If someone asks you, hey, do you have merchandise? You should probably be making merchandise.
I was more or less like saying, oh, if they have that already, you promote that.
Oh yeah, no, same thing. Yeah, if they own merchandise, they'll, hey, look at this cool shirt I got. It's like a walking billboard. It's really great, and it's a great way for them to support your channel and help you make better videos by getting better stuff or going to cool places. Any other questions? I think we've got 15 minutes, but we should probably get out here early if there's a panel afterwards. But anyway, back.
Okay. I showed up a little late. I apologize.
Okay.
Did you talk about clickbait?
Clickbait a little bit, yeah. Basically, the gist was don't be disingenuous.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. What is your complete opinion on it? Because
Yeah.
You know where I stand. You know exactly
I know exactly where you stand. You are an example of what not to do, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't want your video to describe what it, or you don't want your thumbnail to describe what your video doesn't have.
Yeah.
Unless it's like the theme of your channel, like if you already built a reputation around clickbait, go for it.
Yeah, if you can build a reputation around clickbait, that's impressive, and I want to know your secrets because that's actually pretty fun. Scar, we're gonna have a nice little discussion after this panel here.
Take off your shirt for money.
This is definitely not advertiser friendly.
This is a PG panel. This is for families and actually.
Oh, he hasn't dropped any bombs yet,
Most of
so
the
we're
small
good.
children actually left, so that's probably a little bit better, but still.
I mean, he hasn't dropped any F bombs yet, so
Yes.
I think we're good.
This is my good Christian family. Okay, any other questions? Yes?
Alright, do you know any furry YouTubers that do not monetize? And no, we're not counting Madeira. That do not monetize.
That's a good question.
Because, like, I'm starting to get a sense that, like, if you get into YouTubing, it's like you have to monetize. Which
It's
is,
Myron doesn't.
so I actually do.
Oh, you do?
They turned off my ads though because I don't have 40,000 hours of viewing because I've kind of.
Go watch this guy, he's really good.
But no, I didn't monetize for longest period of time. I heard somewhere that monetized videos are favored a little bit in the YouTube algorithm. I don't know if that's true or not. I turned them on because I'm like, if you're someone who's okay with seeing ads, it's not going to make a difference. If you're someone who's not okay with seeing ads, you probably have an ad blocker. I'm a terrible, terrible person and have an ad blocker. I probably should turn it off for YouTube at the very least. But so monetization or not, I don't know if it makes a huge difference. Now with the recent change, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of furry YouTube channels don't have ads just because they don't have the view hours required for them. But yeah, it's really up to you. I don't think it really hurts or helps your channel very much to have them on. So it's up to you. Anything else?
Actually, question. Would you actually, for furry YouTubers then, for guys like us, for us furries, would you recommend us to, if we have ad blockers, turn them off, or just keep them on the same setting to try to at least help out their monetization?
I mean, in general, if you want to help out furry YouTubers, turning off your ad block is nice. But if you really want to help them out, if you really have a furry YouTuber that you love, more than likely, if they're even remotely big, they'll have a Patreon or a Ko-fi, or they'll sell merch or something. Throwing us $1, even just like $1, means the world to most of us, because it's like, oh my gosh, someone actually thinks my stuff is worth giving me money for. It's like the biggest compliment. Like I love, happy, you're doing a great job compliments, but like, it's like $1. It's like, oh god.
Yeah, see that dollar is worth way more than the fraction of a cent that you might get from turning your ad block off to run 30-second ad on a video.
So if you're really feeling guilty about having ad blocker on,
Yeah.
just keep it on and throw $1 to a random furry YouTuber every month, and you're pretty much, actually you're probably way overpaying.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like 1,000 views will get you 20 cents. So you're
What?
essentially paying for 50 for like
Is there
5,000.
an actual statistic, like a graph or something that shows this?
They give you a CPM number, which is basically how much money you're making per thousand. But then, like, not everyone's got their ad blocker on. Most people skip the ads. So even though it says like you'll get $4 per 1,000 views, it's more like you'll get 40 cents per 1,000 views if you're lucky. So yeah, no. If it's really getting on your mind, throw $1 to someone's coffee, get into someone's Patreon. It's not really a big deal. Anything else?
Ever had a strike?
For a strike? I haven't. I've had Nintendo hit me with copyright stuff, but then they'll just take my ad money.
So you got a notice, not a strike.
I got a
There's
notice.
between a claim and a strike.
Yeah.
So a claim is basically like the YouTube auto detects, like, oh,
Slap
you
on
used
the
the
wrist.
copyright. We detected the copyrighted content, but it's the person who owns this content doesn't really care. They just might take away your ad revenue for this video. A strike is,
It's
the
bad.
owner does not want anyone using this content. We're going to take down this video and
You get a
give
strike.
you
You
a
get.
strike.
I think they fall off after 90 days, but if you get 3 of them, it's like,
Yeah.
Channel's
Everything gets deleted.
oh, it's bad. Yeah. Back
Or-
up your stuff.
Or if you violate any terms of service, like you make false reports, because that's actually happened to JTech a
Oh.
couple of times.
But yeah, try not to use copyrighted stuff. Try not to falsely report things. Try to just be a good person, and you probably won't get copyright hacked.
Yeah, strike
Unless you're
off.
H3H3.
Unless you- Oh boy. Anything else? We're kind of reaching the end of our time slot here, so if there are any pressing questions, we can answer them real quick, but otherwise. Cool. Well, to those of you who stuck around, thank you for sticking around for our panel. It's really nice of you. Nice to tell you guys stuff about YouTube and stuff. But thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Actually, there was a dude that actually ended up, remember the lady off of the Freshman to Bel-Air? The first aunt of the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She ended up suing this one dude that ended up using her clip because there's stories of her going crazy. And then the dude actually countersued and actually won.